Hey, it's game day here at Buckeye Barbecue, so we're gonna do some armadillo eggs. I have done plenty of poppers in my time, but I've never done armadillo eggs, so we'll do it together and we'll succeed or fail on this video, so stay tuned. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do for these armadillo eggs is we're gonna smoke some cream cheese. I have a smoked cream cheese video out there. It's one of my first ones, so I won't claim it's great. But you can just watch that to smoke your cream cheese. I'm going to add some honey hog barbecue rub from Meat Church. I really like this. It's going to add a little bit of sweetness to counteract what could be some spicy armadillo eggs. So I'm just going to coat the cream cheese and put it out on the smoker. I'm going to use the Weber Smoke Fire on the high smoke setting, the smoke boost, probably for only an hour. I usually smoke it a little longer than that and even go a little higher temperature, but for today I just want to get a little smoke flavor on this cream cheese to use it in the armadillo eggs. So we'll get that started and we'll bring you back when we build our armadillo eggs. All right. I've made two of these already, but let's make the third and final one together. The cream cheese is off the smoker, and I also ended up putting the jalapenos on there for about 30 minutes just to add a little bit of flavor. You can actually see some of the smoker residue on there. So I'm going to cut the top off of this last jalapeno. And I've actually got a jalapeno core. You can use the wrong side of the spoon, if you will, to do this. This core works really well, I think. So now they are a little soft after being on the smoker, so you got to be a little careful because you don't want to put a hole in it or rip the side of it. But if you see, that comes out pretty easily. There's still a little in there, so I can just clean that out. I hope I'm staying on the camera. It's hard for me to tell sometimes. We've discussed my videography skills before. Okay, so that's pretty good. Now people say that the heat jalapenos and the ribs and the seeds, and I think there's truth to that, but I also think that doesn't tell the whole story. Jalapenos to me, while I love them, are so inconsistent. You can have one that'll light you up and then the next one that's pretty mild. So and I think the heat can come from anywhere. Just a personal thing. Feel free to tell me I'm crazy in the comments if you want. So I am going to use the back of a spoon for the cream cheese stuffing. So I'm just going to start carefully stuffing my smoked cream cheese in there. Remember, we have that honey hog rub on the cream cheese, so got a little sweetness there. If you haven't tried Meat Church rubs, they're pretty good. Again, I have made and do make my own rubs sometimes, but there's so many good ones out there. And just when you think it's pretty well stuffed, if you put your spoon down in, you can kind of start creating more of a void. And the cream cheese, believe it or not, just like when we did the smoked cream cheese, really does remain stable even in the heat of the smoker. And since we're going to be encasing this in the breakfast sausage, for those of you that don't know what an armadillo egg is and haven't Googled it yet, it is a cream cheese stuffed jalapeno encased in breakfast sausage and wrapped in bacon. So nothing wrong with that. So I've got my breakfast sausage here, and I'm just going to create a flat piece. Doesn't have to be perfect. Like I say, don't let perfect be the enemy of good. You can get it to work. So put the jalapeno in and then wrap it up, sort of like a football. I always make sure that end with the cream cheese is got a good thick sausage around it. And once you get it covered, just kind of work it around in your hands. Find those voids like that and make sure they're covered. I had a pound of breakfast sausage, and this is the very last of it to do 3 of these. So I think that's a pretty good indicator that a pound will do 3 of these with normal size jalapenos. These weren't too big or not too small. So then now our bacon, and something important to note about the bacon. We love thick cut bacon at our house, but you don't want to use thick cut bacon on these because the bacon will not cook and crisp up by the time the rest of it's done. I actually learned that on a bacon explosion fatty that I made one time. I used thick bacon like a buffoon, and it did not crisp up. Now you can wrap this around short ways. I sort of like to use 4 pieces of bacon and do it the way I'm doing it. So once around one end, once around going the opposite way, sort of at 90 degrees, and then 2 more to cover those gaps. I don't really like to use toothpicks and things like this. You can if you want to, but I try to wrap it up such that they're not really needed, and then I don't have to worry about them later. Okay, and as you can probably see, I've got a little rub on the cutting board. And that's because I did add a little rub to the outside of my first 2, and I'm gonna do that with this one as well. I took off the wrong glove, so we'll do this way. And I've got a little bit of Killer Hogs, the barbecue rub, the hot version, which I think I've said on another video, I really like, and it's not super spicy, even though it is the hot version. It's really not. This is gonna add some nice color, another little layer of flavor to go with the kind of the honey sweet rub we have on the cream cheese. And these 3 are ready to go. So hope I did get most of that caught on the camera. We are going to let these set up a little bit in the fridge. I'm not quite ready to cook them yet. They're gonna end up being around 250 degrees on the Weber smoke fire for probably about 90 minutes. We'll gauge their doneness by the crispness of the bacon, and I may try to temp that sausage just a little bit, even though it's sort of a thin layer and might be a little difficult to temp. By the way, the bacon is just regular grocery store. I don't even know what brand of bacon. The sausage happened to come from Porter Road. They have a great breakfast sausage by the pound. So again, I always encourage you to try a Porter Road. They are really good, but any sort of store-bought sleeve of breakfast sausage will work. So we'll bring you back when we put these on the smoker. It's time to get the armadillo eggs on the smoker. So we're gonna make it happen. It is, smoker is almost up to temperature. I've got it set for 250. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on a little early before it gets all the way there. I'll have a little more smoke going in there then anyway. So we're gonna get started. So I'll get the lid open here. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on the bottom rack. I do have an aluminum pan with a rack on top of it to hold the armadillo eggs. Mostly just because it'll make cleanup a little easier. The pork fat that renders from the bacon and the sausage will have a place to go that's not in the bottom of the smoker. So I may, after some of that rendering happens and they're not as drippy, put them directly on the grates. I'm not quite sure yet. I don't think it really will matter that much, to be honest with you. So we're gonna let these go. We're probably not even gonna look at these for at least an hour, maybe even 90 minutes before we even open the lid. So we'll bring you back when we do. All right, the armadillo eggs have been on about an hour and 15 minutes or so, so I'm gonna take a look. Oh, looking good, holding their shape, and the bacon is staying wrapped, which is one of the first things I wanted to look for. I'm just gonna look on the other side. I think I'm gonna crank the temp up. We've been at 250 here. I think I wanna see that bacon crisp up a little more, a little faster, but overall I think they're looking great. So I'm gonna turn this up, just bump it up to 275. So we'll probably give it another, I don't know, 30 minutes, maybe a little less, and we'll look at them again. All right, these are getting pretty close to being done, I think. Yeah, that bacon is crisping up nicely. I think the last thing I want to do to these is I'm going to add a little bit of just traditional barbecue sauce. I like how to barbecue Wright's barbecue sauce really well, and I had a little left over. So I'm going to add a little bit to each of these and then turn them and add some to the bottom. So we'll let these, after we sauce them up, stay on probably another, I don't know, 20 minutes maybe. Let the sauce set, and then we'll get them in and get one cut open after they cool off, because these things are going to be pretty hot inside. They're looking good. And the nice thing is we don't have any eruptions of cream cheese pouring out of these, so means it's all still inside, which is good. Cream cheese is actually more stable than you think under heat. It does really well if you smoke it. There. All right, we're bring you back in about 20 minutes when we take these off, and we'll cut one open. All right, I am certain these are done and ready, so we're gonna pull them off. They look awesome. We'll get them inside, and we're definitely gonna let them cool. If you cut these open right now, it would be like lava flowing out of there, so I'm not gonna be trying it for a little bit. So we'll let them cool at least 15 minutes, if not 20 or a few minutes more. And then we'll cut one open and test her out and see how we did. So we'll bring you back. Okay, well, these were cooled off about 20 minutes. So I'm gonna cut into one and see how we did. I think I'm gonna cut diagonally. Which one, which one, which one? Let's go with the one in the middle. All right. Looks really good. Smells outstanding. It actually smells really spicy, if I'm being honest. I'm going to try this on camera. That way, if it lights me up, maybe I can send this into America's Funniest Home Videos and win some money. Who knows? So let's taste. It looks great. Just to recap, we took a little bit of cream cheese and we smoked it for maybe an hour. Also put the jalapenos on the smoker for a lot less time, about 30 minutes, because I did not want them to soften up too much. Then we cut the stems off the jalapenos, cleaned out the inside so it was really just the case of the pepper left. We stuffed it with that smoked cream cheese. We took sausage and wrapped it around that jalapeno, almost making like a football shape, and then wrapped that with bacon. We put it on the smoker, 250 to 275. I finished it a little higher, close to 300. They were on there about 2 hours, and in about the last 15 minutes or so, I coated them with barbecue sauce, and then they were done. So it is time to taste. All right, hopefully I'm in this video. It's hard for me to tell, so I think I've got it lined up. So I'm just gonna pick one of these up. I'm just gonna use my hands and we're gonna give it a try. I'm a little nervous. It actually smells spicy, so. Not super spicy. The flavor is great. Man, that's good. The bacon crisped up nicely. You can taste the honey hog and the other rub in there a little bit. I think the most surprising thing is how good the barbecue sauce that we finished it with is. If you've never done these, great appetizer. Several of them will feed a group of people. You can cut slices or cut chunks off. Really good. I've done what I call a bacon explosion or something like that. That's kind of the same principle that I'll do a video on later, but it reminds me of that, just a smaller version. So as usual, thanks for joining Buckeye Barbecue today. Buckeyes are playing Rutgers. Definitely rooting for Ohio State today. Have a great weekend, everybody, and if you're so inclined, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks a lot.